Happening now, new developments announced today in a decades-old cold case murder in Jamestown. Why police need your help to identify movements of a possible suspect. And a new method of getting users hooked on drugs has local health leaders worried about our kids. Plus, as fall officially begins, a look at trees across New York State, which are just starting to change color.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, Chautauqua County's Cold Case Squad are continuing efforts to investigate the decades-old homicide of a Jamestown woman, now asking for the public's help in identifying movements of a possible suspect. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office Unsolved Cases Unit provided an update in the murder of Jamestown mother Yolanda Bindix today. Bindix was last seen leaving the Family Dollar store on Fluvanna Avenue in Jamestown on Tuesday, August 10, 2004 at around 8:10. 2 years later, her remains were discovered in a wooded area. Investigators now want to speak to anybody who saw this man, Clarence Carl Cart, between 7 o'clock that night and 6 a.m. the next morning. Detectives say that he lived on Buffalo Street and was the father of Bindix's youngest child. He was seen in this security video leaving the Fluvanna Avenue quick fill around the same time the mother went missing. Furthermore, anyone who came in contact with her or spoke with her at any time during the night is asked to contact the investigative unit. We have info on how to do that posted at our website, WNYNewsNow.com. Well, Chautauqua County is no stranger to drug trafficking. However, a new method of getting users addicted has local health leaders worried. Fentanyl, a common agent used to distribute drugs, is dangerous in of itself, but now traffickers are disguising the narcotic as candy. Our Alyssa Wright has a story parents need to know.
It's been brought to our attention that in an attempt to try to get more young people, unfortunately addicted to fentanyl or the opioids in general, another tactic is being used, and that is the dyeing of candy, all different sorts of colors, shapes, and sizes that really resembles something that some of us could refer to as, we used to eat sweet tarts, look something like that. And in reality, it's a very deadly drug.
Chautauqua County Public Health Director Christine Schuyler says this drug, named rainbow fentanyl, is more dangerous than many other narcotics.
This rainbow fentanyl, what they've been finding so far, is 50 times more potent than heroin, 100 times more potent than morphine.
With Halloween quickly approaching, health officials advise taking extreme caution with your trick-or-treaters.
We're warning parents to be really cautious of where candy comes from when your kids get it. Halloween is coming, but also for the general population. And fentanyl in a teeny tiny little amount is enough to cause an overdose and can be fatal.
While the drug hasn't been spotted in the county yet, that does not mean it isn't already here.
The DEA has said that they are seeing this candy form, rainbow fentanyl, showing up in multiple other areas across the country. And these warnings are just being sent out so that everyone can be aware that this is something that could possibly be showing up in our neighborhoods.
Parents are being asked to look for warning signs in their kids.
Look out for those red flags in their kids. Alcohol use, other drug use, marijuana, nicotine, somebody who's struggling in school or has changes in their mood and their behavior, or their relationships are deteriorating in general.
Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Alyssa, thank you. If you or anyone you know might be in need of help, there are resources locally. You can contact Evergreen Health Services at 664-7855 or visit your local pharmacy. You can ask about the Narcan co-payment program, which could save a life. Over $2.6 million in federal funding will be provided for firefighters across upstate New York. The funding was allocated through FEMA's Assistance to the Firefighters Grant Program. Now, according to Senator Chuck Schumer's office, this money will be used to purchase essential equipment and boost training. Locally, the city of Dunkirk is slated to receive $44,000. Grants are awarded on a competitive basis to the applicants that most closely address the program's priorities and demonstrate a financial need. And as colder weather begins to creep in here in western New York, National Fuel is warning their customers to expect higher heating bills this winter. The gas supplier estimates that based on the current market prices, the average residential customer will pay 50% more to heat their homes from November through March. Locally, National Fuel customers haven't seen a winter heating season bill this high since 2008. Last winter, natural gas prices began to spike. However, the weather was around 10% warmer than normal, so winter heating bills came in lower than anticipated. Well, from invasive species to so-called overregulation, agriculture in Chautauqua County faces several obstacles amid their fall harvest. This week, New York State lawmakers took part in an educational tour of the region's agriculture industry to hear from farmers one-on-one. Our Bronson Rasmussen tagged along. He joins us live now in the newsroom today with more. Bronson?
Justin, among the top issues discussed include the new wage overtime threshold mandate going into effect and a destructive species that could seriously damage crops. On Thursday, New York State Senator George Borrello and others visited the Growers Cooperative Grape Juice Company in Westfield. General Manager Steve Karam spoke on the dangers that farmers in the area face, including the spotted lanternfly, an invasive species that is extremely dangerous to the grape crop.
There's a lot of concern. It's not here, but this is an invasive species that could go through our entire industry and absolutely devastate it. It could slowly literally suck all the life out of all the grapes around here.
Senator George Borrello believes this first-hand approach is important to help identify issues farmers face in Western New York.
It was a really impactful, I believe, for those members to hear directly from those folks whose living depends on whether or not they can live under the oppressive laws and regulations that come out of Albany.
There is fear that recent legislation will hurt the local agriculture industry.
But as George mentioned, the Farm Labor Wage Board Act is the most disastrous thing to happen to agriculture in New York State probably ever.
According to those with Grape Co-op, Chautauqua County's vineyards are among the largest farming industries around, and it's important for elected officials to get a first-hand look.
When you buy it at the grocery store, it seems like it's magic, it's just in a bottle and life is good, but there's a lot of steps that go into making that grape juice.
The Growers Co-op has been around since 1929, taking freshly harvested grapes and turning them into wines, jams, jellies, and of course, even grape juice. Live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you. Are you going to take a sip of that?
I mean, we both have a cup there, Justin.
We do. And you know what? I hear this actually, so this looks like cough medicine.
A little bit.
We have a story about not to drink NyQuil coming up. I hope this isn't that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. It's really good.
Oh,
The question is, are my teeth going to be purple now? What do you think, Bronson?
I know I don't have to worry about that, but good luck with you, Justin.
I know. I tried not to get much of it on there. You want a sip, Dakota?
Toothbrush, medic, first aid.
Yeah, I think it is a low. Well, let's move on. So I thought this was going to be grape juice, and then they pour it out, and it's not grape. Like this is thick, but you could make probably a lot of grape products.
Actually, speaking of grape stuff, do you know what it's something that's good to dip your fries in?
Jelly?
Grape jelly.
Yeah.
Yes. Try that sometime. You'll be surprised. Anyway, this is the Lakeside Park Sky Cam, and we are pretty much going to stay dry for today. And you can see on the satellite and radar composite, we do have a few clouds moving on in, but otherwise that's it. And I think today's just going to be one of those days where it's going to be cool, so it's feeling like fall out there for the first official full day of fall. Ragweed and mold pollen are the two culprits right now, thanks to Dr. Fred Lewis and Olean for that report. Only 58 was the high yesterday. Started the day at a chilly 41, 91 and 29 are the records. So through the afternoon, unseasonably chilly, mostly sunny, not quite as breezy as yesterday, but it still will be a tad bit breezy, 50 to 60 with that north to northwest wind. Now we could be dealing with the first frost of the season across the inland areas tonight, plus more rain. The ultimate satellite solution 7-day will be coming up later in the show, Justin.
All right, Dakota, we'll see you in a bit. Next, we break down the latest trend, why health officials are warning against it, And a big hint here, NyQuil and chicken, they don't go well together. And later, why some state lawmakers want to repeal the HALT Act here in New York. Stay with us. WNY News Now is back after this.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
If chicken is on the menu tonight, the FDA says don't boil it in NyQuil. Some users on social media have started a trend of cooking poultry with the cough syrup. The FDA now putting out a statement warning against it. And local pharmacists, they can't agree more. Erie News Now's Tom Kowalski has the story.
I have teenage daughter who has teenage friends, and it really does make me nervous.
The sleepy chicken trend is the latest in a series of internet jokes taken too far, where people cook their chicken in NyQuil. Parents and doctors alike are concerned with the latest online food challenge. Dr. Brandon Nornhold is a pharmacist and a father who's become increasingly concerned with the effects NyQuil can have if inappropriately consumed.
The amount that is going to get absorbed into the meat is going to be unpredictable, and it could concentrate as things are cooked, and that could lead to toxic amounts. It could lead to seizures, it could lead to abnormalities with your heart, and others that could just make you unresponsive and maybe make you unable to protect your airway and require a breathing machine at some point.
And according to the FDA, even if you don't actually eat the chicken, it's still possible to cause damage to your body via the vapors inhaled during the cooking process.
With it being over the counter, people often appear that it is safe and there can be little harm to be done. But I do know, as a practitioner in the intensive care unit, we see lots of patients come in just from normal dosages with side effects from these medications. Long-term effects could be damage to maybe your liver or your brain.
NyQuil manufacturer Procter & Gamble said in a statement that they do not endorse use of their products, aside from the instructions on the back of the packaging.
It's amazing of all these different TikTok trends that keep appearing, and they seem to be getting more dangerous and more unpredictable as they come out.
I'm Tom Kowalski, Erie News Now.
Tom, thank you. Well, important definitely to not do. As the state's legislative session approaches, some lawmakers here in New York, they're renewing their call to repeal the Humane Alternatives to Solitary Confinement Act, also known as the HALT Act.
There's a crisis and an emergency going inside our correctional facilities.
Now, back in April, the HALT Act went into effect, causing an uproar among some local lawmakers and correctional officials. According to the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, violence in New York State correctional facilities has risen 35% since April 1st. Inmate-on-staff violence increased around 37%, and inmate-on-inmate violence, that's over 30%. The law, approved last year by the legislature, and signed by former Governor Andrew Cuomo, essentially limits isolated confinement. Earlier this year, New York State's Correctional Officers and Police Benevolent Association called on now Governor Hochul to not move forward with its implementation. Lawmakers here argue the men and women who work in correctional facilities put their lives on the line and they need to be protected. The CDC is reporting 4.4 million Americans have gotten their updated COVID boosters. It's likely an actual higher number since the numbers do not yet indicate the states like Idaho and Texas. The new boosters not only protect against original strains of COVID, but also the Omicron BA4 and 5 subvariants. A new White House campaign now urging Americans to get the updated booster shot at the same time as their flu shot. But some are worried that an effort will be hampered here by President Biden himself declaring on 60 Minutes over the weekend that the pandemic is over. A handful of Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives are introducing legislation they say will prevent colleges and universities from using a political litmus test in their hiring of staff and even students. U.S. Representative Fred Keller says the legislation, called the Restoring Academic Freedom on Campus Act, will ensure higher education institutions are not compelling faculty, students, or applicants to identify commitment or any partisan ideological set or belief as part of their hiring process or maybe student selection process. They say universities like UCLA and Stanford are making hiring promotion decisions after taking a candidate's diversity and equity inclusion into account. Universities like UCLA, for example, have a diversity statement saying they want to make sure their student bodies and staff are as diverse as possible, getting people from all backgrounds. However, Keller says they use diversity statements as a litmus test, which could discriminate on political or ideological grounds.
When we're talking about academic, restoring academic freedom in our universities and colleges, it's the First Amendment. A diversity of opinion should be welcomed in educational settings, and there shouldn't be anybody that is disqualified because you believe differently than somebody else.
Yeah, in the end, they are pushing this bill, and they say that it would prohibit higher institutions from having this standard on their record. Well, coming up next here on WNY News Now, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter right around the corner with a full look at our weekend forecast. A couple important festivals that we don't want rained out. And after that, a look at our Pet of the Week segment. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights. Vests.
Please, give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please.
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
Move over.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to start off with another picture from our friend Don, always sending us some nice stuff. And he's got some pictures here of some of the fall foliage that's already starting to turn. The leaves are starting to turn now. We are going to talk about that a little bit later on. And how about this? This is a picture of the rain yesterday coming over Chautauqua Lake. Thanks to Dominic for that picture. That is fantastic. And of course, you know, seeing pictures like this is always magnificent when you see that shelf of rain coming down. So if you have any pictures or videos of the weather, Hunters WX, hello, I'm over here. Hunters WX on Twitter, the First Defense Weather page on Facebook, and always use the hashtag MyLocalWX. Anyway, Friday Night Lights. Jamestown has their next home game tonight at Strider Field. They are taking on Williamsville North. 51 degrees with a good amount of sunshine, 49 at halftime, 47 by the fourth quarter. A sweater might, but at least we're not going to deal with any weather hassles. A nice day downtown right now. We're at 56 as of noon hour, northwest wind of 20. We do have a wind gust of 26, and yeah, the humidity is down a little bit for today as well. Now, lows tonight are going to be dropping well down into the 30s across much of the area, especially the so we could be dealing with our first frost of the season. So keep that in mind. If you have planted things, you might want to cover them up or bring them inside tonight for the potential for frost. High pressure moving on in across the upper Great Lakes. That's going to keep us dry for today. We have a new tropical depression in the Caribbean, Tropical Depression 9. This is the area that we told you about yesterday that would likely develop. And the National Hurricane Center has this coming up into the Gulf of Mexico, and the track is still unknown at this point, but they do have it coming up into Florida, potentially a Category 3 hurricane. So we'll have to watch that as we go throughout next week. But notice the computer modeling paints us mostly sunny through the afternoon hours, so a great day. Tonight, we're going to start to see a few clouds rolling in by morning. Otherwise, just mainly dry. Tomorrow we'll keep the dry weather going into Saturday, but Saturday night, Sunday, that's going to be our next chance of rain showers as the next system arrives. So we are going to see rain showers continuing through Saturday and Sunday, or Sunday and Monday. So we start tomorrow around 30, 60 at noon, 65 by the end of the day. Now, next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions, 65 tomorrow. Rain showers return Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But look at the temperatures, Justin, dropping back into the lower 50s.
Yeah, certainly feeling like fall as we kick it all off. Dakota, thank you. Well, in an effort to help our furry friends find a forever home, we're partnered with the Chautauqua County Humane Society for our Pet of the Week. Brian Papalea joining us live in studio today with 2 new kittens coming in here.
Yeah,
Brian.
we've got Sebastian and Melody, and they're litter mates, and they're both about 4 months old. And they are going to be 2 of our representatives. We did the event at the mall last Saturday. 13 of the 16 kittens we brought got adopted. Plus, we had more at the shelter. There was a total of 25 over about a 4-day period. We're doing it again tomorrow from noon to 3 at the Chautauqua Mall. So we're very excited to have a whole nother group that has come in since then. To be available. Or actually, it's something that's a little different tomorrow. Some of the fosters that are fostering some of these kittens will be there to be able to talk to people about their, kittens that they've been taking care of as they get to that 3-pound mark where they can be spayed or neutered and ready for adoption.
So for these guys, since they are little, are they able to go home?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're 4 months old. They're pretty far past. It's usually about 2 or 3 months, somewhere in there, depending on how much the kitten eats and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And when adopting kittens like this from a litter, does it matter if they go home separately? Is that usually what happens?
It really doesn't. They're not like us where the separation is not so. Sometimes they can be, but most often it's fine for them to be separated.
Yeah.
And but it's something I always like to throw out there that, if you're possibly new to the pet game, it is cool to have a pair of kittens because they can grow up together. They're social animals. They can entertain themselves when you're not home, that sort of thing.
Yeah. My mom did that with new kittens. She got 2 of them. One was supposed to go with my sister, and they ended up bonding, living at her house, and they got a 3rd for my sister, and now we have 2 brothers who run rampant around the house. It's crazy. But these guys are so chill today, and that's one of the things we've talked about. They're so impressionable that if you are new to this, you can get training, you can learn how to treat them well and have a great pet for a long time.
And just to actually show how chill these guys are, in the last maybe 15 minutes they were at the shelter. brought into the carrier, made the trip here. We tried to find a few parking spots, and, we were running up here, and they're just hanging out. So,
yeah, definitely.
They're definitely got the patience for you. That.
And so they'll be at the mall Saturday.
These two will be at the mall. From what I understand, it could be anywhere between 20 and 30 kittens that will be at the mall tomorrow.
Okay.
And they are available to shelter as well. The shelter is open from 11 to 3. And then the mall that store at the mall will be open from noon to 3. So
perfect, yeah. So if you're looking,
I want to thank you for all the promotion that you guys do here at Western New York News Now for the animals, because it's really a huge help. So
yeah, thank you. And we love to connect them with possible homes in the future. And that's the thing. You mentioned you've had so many kittens come in, and they really do need a good home, and they need somewhere where they'll be taken care of and loved. And
something that's also come up too is people are like, well, what about spay neuter, or what are we doing? And we are doing that. We have those services which people can go to the chqhumane.org to find. So just that other piece of it.
Right, absolutely. So Brian, thank you so much for bringing these guys in. I don't know how we're going to send them back. So again, chqhumane.org, the place to go. And of course, check out the Chautauqua Mall on Saturday. Well, coming up next, we highlight fall foliage as autumn officially arrives. Stay with us.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma. ¿Cuántos años tienes?
Noah. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Catch your first defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. Friday officially kicked off the fall season, and across New York State, trees now just starting to change colors.
I Love New York released their second fall foliage report of the season this week, outlining a forecast for autumn leaves through next Tuesday.
Now, Chautauqua County spotters predict up to 25% of fall foliage color, with red, yellow, and orange dotting the landscape around Chautauqua County and Jamestown.
Now, meanwhile, northern Chautauqua County along Lake Erie has been slower to change, but observers expect the colors there to accelerate with cooler temperatures.
Yeah, and in Cattaraugus County, Little Valley spotters, they're predicting up to 15% foliage change, with sporadic spots of red leaves and hints of yellow, all with some average lighting here.
Now, foliage spotters at Allegheny State Park also anticipate around 15% foliage change, with maple starting to show a little bit of muted color, Justin.
Yeah, and now one of the things, you mentioned that muted color, Dakota, that's something that I hear we're going to have to be dealing with over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the colors for at least the early part of the season could very well be not as vibrant, simply because of the lack of rainfall that we had during the summer season. We ended summer in almost a 4-inch rainfall deficit. So, and obviously we had some warmer nights throughout the summer as well.
Right.
So obviously we need the cooler temperatures and along with the rain to help really make the colors pop. So we don't see that quite yet, but with all this rain we've had the past couple of weeks,
right,
you know,
we might get that, if especially, you know, those trees who haven't turned yet. There's a lot of people out there who would say, well, you know, you talk about fall foliage, you look around Jamestown, there are a few trees, but not a ton. But some of them, I always find this so interesting. There are trees every year who start to change pretty quickly. Some of those include the ones actually right outside our office, right here.
Yep.
You see them center shot. They probably, I give it 2 weeks here, and they'll be completely red and then eventually gone. So.
We'll be walking them over them, crunch, crunch, crunch.
Right. Oh, I love that sound. I really do. Oh, it's good. By the way, we want to wish Dakota a very big happy birthday, too, as you celebrate a birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
And shoot him up at Hunters WX for more on your birthday. That is it for us today. We'll leave you with this live shot over Lakeside Park in Mayfield. Have a great weekend.